Hi there, welcome to my channel, my YouTube channel. So in this video, we're gonna try to discuss what are the things or emotion that you would actually feel just in case you go to a job interview. This actually applies for a first time comer who would actually try to apply, or for somebody who has already applied for several times before. So this thing that I would like to share is actually based from my own experience. I have been working actually ever since I was just 18 years old, and I've gone through many processes and steps, situations that I want to share, that somehow you might find a tip or a certain suggestion or hint that would help you to be more productive and more successful in your job search. So, when I was starting to apply before, and that was a very long time ago, the first thing that I did try to do is to read tips or somehow get information on what are the things that I would need to do or explain before I actually go to an interview. And the reason because I did that is for the fact that prior to that thinking, I got rejected for several jobs that I applied to before. And with this one, I said to myself, when I was interviewed by different interviewers, I was able actually to answer most of their questions. But it's just that if you miss one question, or if you answer a question that they didn't feel or that didn't actually fall to the standard acceptable answers that they have for that question, immediately you get kicked out, or immediately you be somehow removed from the shortlisted applicants for that job. And the last situation that I encountered that particular scenario is when the interviewer actually asked me if I do have any relatives working for any government agencies. So at that time, I thought answering truthfully would actually help me, because I said that yeah, I have an aunt who actually work for the Court of Appeals department. It's a judiciary department of the government. And I was very confident, actually, not with arrogance, but I'm just proud that I have an aunt who did actually work for that agency. And for that one, when I stressed that answer, I just noticed that the interviewer just smiled and then move on with the couple of easy questions that I immediately answered. And so she asked me to actually to wait at the lobby. And then a couple of minutes, moving to my story, they just said that they would actually call me. But then again, if you are actually applying for an industry not in any certain BPO company or setup, when a company or when a hiring manager tells you that they would actually call you, it's already the notion that you got rejected from the job that you're applying for. So that is just one scenario. I had many instances of also having the same situation. But then again, it boils down to one thing. Regardless, for example, if you have 10 questions that the interviewer will actually give you, if you answer the 9 questions correctly, or probably 8 or 7, regardless of how many positive and correct answers that you give, if you just miss one tiny question, that immediately puts you into the negative self, or let's just say it's gonna remove you from being a prospective employee actually for that company. So I said to myself, no, this is not going to happen again. There must be a certain way to, if not 100%, make sure that you get hired, at least have a better chance of being accepted and being given the vacant position. And so what I did is I tried to somehow ask people who are far ahead of me in terms of their experiences with their careers. In addition to that, since the internet at that time is already available, so I use that venue, I use all the resources there to actually get information and tailor fit it to what could be a situation that could occur upon the interview process. So, with that one being said, slowly but surely, I tried to list down the most common questions that an interviewer would actually ask you in an interview. And of course, some set of questions would actually differ from an industry to another. But then again, they have one common thing, and that is there's a standard bracket or level of answers that they would actually accept. Now, regardless of these particular categories, as long as they actually fit to the bracket or to the list of possible answers that would actually make you correctly answer those questions, then you're good to go. And so that is one thing that happened. And for this one, my advice, based from my experience, is that if you try to apply, regardless of it's your first time or if it's your second time or a couple of times already that you applied for, the best weapon or the best help or aid that you could give to yourself as a boost to have at least a more or a better chance of getting hired is to equip yourself immediately with the most possible answers that you could provide for a particular question. It would not only save you the hassle and effort to address it, but at the same time, it lessens the time that you actually need to think about the answers that you would actually give, most especially if the interview would just be around 3 to 5 minutes interview and the interviewer would immediately need you to somehow answer in a crisp, sharp, precise way about their questions. So first things first, you have to somehow understand what are the nature of the questions, why is it that it's actually being given, and what would be the possible and correct answer that you could ever provide, based from your own experiences as well and based from the things that had happened to you in the past. So in that way, you would lessen the anxiety or the butterfly in your stomach every time that you would try to apply. Okay. So yeah, thank you so much. And for this one, I'll try to somehow give other videos that would enlist the steps of the things that you could actually do. All right. Thank you so much.